Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining us today. We wanted to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can share some guidance about the structure of the universe today. I often joke that we're going to give a class on the structure of the universe, but today we're actually going to do that. So that's interesting. I'd like to seek the blessings of Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada, Radha Krishna, because this is quite a challenging topics. So let's make a start. Okay. So chapter 20, text text 46, we can have a look at this. Deva Deryan Manusyan Nam Sarisripa Savirudam Sarvajiva Nikayanam Surya Brigeshwara. Good boy.
All living entities, including demigods, human beings, animals, birds, insects, reptiles, creepers, and trees, depend upon the heat and light given by the sun god from the planet Sun. Furthermore, it is because of the sun's presence that all living entities can see, and therefore he is called Ishvara, the personality of Godhead, presiding over sight.
Very good. Thank you so much, Riyansh. Beautifully read. Okay, let's... Now, that comment on the sun comes right at the end of this chapter. So we'll come to that. So this chapter is entitled Studying the Structure of the Universe. Hare Krishna. After describing Jambudvip. Now, I wanted to see who remembers. This is not an easy question. How many islands are there?
7 islands.
7.
Yes, not even. 7 islands. Good. And we talked about?
Jambudvip.
Jambudvip, which is the innermost island. Yeah. So we'll see.
Prabhuji, sorry to disturb you.
No.
Before we start, I read the chapter 5. It's very good, but very difficult to remember what everything is and what, because everyone has got 7 sons and 7 children they give, and then 7 other things comes up, and oh my goodness. And then this
it is.
And then all this, the Jambudvip, are they all talking about still Bharatvarsh, not the whole universe or the whole expanse?
This is in Jambudvip is Bharatvarsh. There's 9 Varshas in Jambudvip, and one of them in the south is Bharatvarsh, Earth, and that's described to be where we are, Bharat Bhumi.
Just Bharat Bhumi, not the whole universe, not the whole Earth.
So that's what is in Jambudvip.
Yeah.
But now,
Jambudvip is roughly, if you look at the solar system, it's a bit like, you can equate it to like that, all those different planets, and Earth is Bharatvarsh.
Maybe. But actually, we'll see a little bit more. What you're saying, we'll see the overview today, I think. A little bit of an overview.
Yes. Yeah. It's
But,
amazing how the calculations have been done with all how far they are.
Flabbergasted.
How they did it exactly. And is there now these days everybody wants to know how they arrived at that conclusion.
Yeah.
I don't know, there must be something original papers how they came to this conclusion, the distance and the calculations and all that. But,
this is Sukadev Goswami, and he was he didn't need papers, right? He spoke it, and then of course Vyasadev wrote it through Ganesh. But where the originals are, who knows?
Yes.
But interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. So the first one after Jambudvip is Plakshadvip. The Plakshadvip surrounds Jambudvip. So the inner is Jambudvip. The first next dvip, which surrounds it completely, is Plakshadvip. and it's itself surrounded by an ocean of sugarcane juice. And the residents, they go to hospital suffering diabetes. Oh no, sorry, it doesn't say that. The residents of Plakshadweep worship the Lord in the form of sun god. People living there manifest qualities of longevity, sensory process, physical and mental strength, intelligence, and bravery. So, same, and then let's just go to the dweeps, right? So Sukadev Goswami now is explaining the remaining 6 islands. So we've been through one. So I've just done a very brief summary, because to remember the suns and everything is just too difficult. So we just want to do a little overview. Saimali Dweep. Saimali Dweep is surrounded by an ocean of liquor. There is a Saimali tree, which is the residence of Garud. The residents of Saimali Dweep worship the moon god Soma. They pray that he may remain their king and guide. So the moon god Soma is very cool, right? Because the moon is very cooling. So the residents there like him very much because he's chilled out and he's a good guide. Kushadweep. Outside the ocean of liquor is Kushadweep, which is surrounded by an ocean of ghee. There are clumps of Kusha grass which appear like fire with mild and pleasing flames. The residents of Kushadweep worship the demigod of fire. They pray to Agni to carry their offerings to the Supreme Lord, who is the real enjoyer. So let's have a look at where these fit in. Right, let's just see if there's Somadatate Darvasa. Yes, that's right. Good. So this is Jambudweep right in the center there. This is like a dartboard. In the middle is Jambudweep there. And then we had the first, what was it called? Lakshadweep. We can't see the writing, unfortunately. And then we had Salmi Dweep, which must be this one. Yep, that's it. I can see the writing just about. And then Kushadweep. Kushadweep. And that's surrounded by ghee. So now we're going to look at Crownchadweep.
Crownchadweep.
And then Sakadweep. And then there's 1, 2, 3. That's it. Yeah, there's one more after that. Okay, let's have a look at those. Crownchadweep. Outside the ocean of ghee is Conchodweep, which is surrounded by an ocean of milk. There is a great mountain, Kauncha, on this island. The residents worship Varun with a palm full of water. They pray for purification. So Varun is, who's Varun?
Water god.
Yeah, good. Sakshadweep is surrounded by an ocean of churned yogurt. The residents practice pranayam and mystic yoga. In trance, they worship the Supreme Lord in the form of Vayu. They pray for protection from all dangers. And then the last one, Pushkara Dweep. Outside the ocean of yogurt is Pushkara Dweep, which is surrounded by an ocean of pure water. There is a golden lotus flower, which is sitting place of Brahma. In the middle of that island is a great mountain called Manosotara. So this, we're going to come across this again in a minute, I think, upon which the chariot of the sun god travels. The residents offer prayers to Lord Brahma as the form of manifest Vedic knowledge. So now he's described the 6 dweepas. Not easy to understand, and we'll see if we can have a little bit of an overview. He now describes the remaining land of Bhumandal. Now, Bhumandal is everything. He's described Jambudweep plus the other 6 islands. Now he's describing what's outside of the islands. Oh, yeah. And this is a little overview, starting with Jambudweep and then all the other islands and their oceans. And then there's another overview, which is this one. I don't know if you can see it clearly enough, but Again, the 6 islands plus the oceans. And then each island has something special. So Plaksha Dweep, we know it's got the sugarcane juice. Salmi Dweep has got the liquor, and Garud also resides there. It's a home of Garud. Kushadweep is the butter, ghee. Groundweep, milk ocean. Shakadweep, yogurt. And then there's clear water, Pushkara. So this is right across the universe, Yes, Nariben.
I think, yes, I think it is across the universe, but what is happening? Are these things still there?
Yes. This is description of this universe. We can't necessarily perceive it, perhaps, with our limited senses.
Yes.
But this is what the Bhagavatam says.
Yes.
And it gets even more weirder. if Bhagavatam
more
please
complicated.
forgives me for saying that.
It's all these mountains and huge things, and
that's right. We've got a very narrow vision.
Yes.
Of what we can see.
Yes.
We use our eyes, but actually scriptures see through chakshu, knowledge. Chakshu gyan.
Okay.
Anyway, Loka mountain divides the countries that are full of sunlight from those not lit by the sun. There is also a golden land, which is uninhabited. Loka is the outer border of the 3 worlds, Bhulok, Bhuvalok, and Swaglok. On top of this mountain are 4 elephants which maintain the planetary system. The Lord also manifests in the 4-armed form on top of the mountain. Alokvarsh. Outside Loka mountain is a tract of land known as Alokvarsh, which extends for the same breadth as the area within the mountain. In other words, 1 billion miles. Whew. Beyond Alokvarsh is the destination of those who aspire for liberation from the material world. It is beyond the jurisdiction of the material modes of nature, and therefore it is completely pure. Lord Krishna took Arjuna through this place to bring back the sons of the Brahmins. So it's interesting how Krishna book referred back to this aspect of the geography of the universe. So then the sun planet, which is what we read right at the beginning. The sun is situated in the middle of the universe. And we'll see that in a minute, I think. I think I'll put a chart up. Between Bhulok and Bhuvalok, in Antariksh, the outer space. The sun god and the sun planet divide all the directions of the universe. Because of the presence of the sun, we can understand what the sky, the higher planets, this world, lower planets are. All living beings depend upon the heat and light given by the sun god from the sun planet. Furthermore, it is because of the sun's presence that all living entities can see.
Charts make sense.
Yeah, let's have a look at the charts, hopefully. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. So, Jambudweep, and then you've got all the different islands, and then you've got this Manotsotara mountain range, which surrounds the islands. Oops.
Just saying, oh my God.
And then you've got this 1 billion miles of uninhabited land. Then you've got the golden land. Then you've got the Loka mountain range. Then you've got Alokavash. So this is an idea.
The edge of
This is the edge of the shell of the universe is here. And then the shell is huge as well. So we are doing an exam straight after this session. Make sure everybody's staying awake, including me. And there's the sun, by the way. Sun is in the middle of the universe. And it travels right across like this. on top of Bhumandal. So we'll see that. We'll have a different angle in a little while. I'm not taking any questions because I don't know any answers.
Thank you, Prabhu. No question.
Actually, not even.
I think everybody is so confused. They don't know what to ask.
Exactly.
I think just bear this picture in mind.
I like this picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is good.
yeah, it's all
Prabhuji, I have a
imprinted on my
question.
brain.
Arvind.
I don't know where
Oh,
Prabhu got it from.
your mic's working today. Shame. Yeah, go on.
It says the residence of the moon god. That's not
Yeah.
the actual moon, is it? That we see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently it is.
But how can it be this? According to this, it's 202
Yeah.
million.
Other than the sun.
Yeah.
So
That's
then how can these guys claim that they landed on the moon?
Exactly.
That's what Prabhupada also said.
Exactly.
So that theory is definitely not true then.
That theory
According to
does
the
Landing on the
no. Because also, if you think about it, the moon is a heavenly planet. And what did they find? Just some stones, and rocks. So, it's,
Which is similar to the Arizona desert or something.
yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Sitaram.
Yes, Prabhu. We are talking about moons. But, Bhagavad Gita says so many moons we have. So how can we judge it? And second thing is that due to our, we are in Kali Yuga, our mind is so weak. We cannot keep such understanding.
Yeah.
It's like this, Prabhu.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Prabhu was saying that how the moon appears like this. So innumerable moons. As if they fear the Lord. The Lord gives them instruction.
But according to this structure,
There's only one in this.
yeah, there's one moon.
Only one moon.
Yeah.
Maybe it was in that yuga.
Yeah. But in any case, we accept the Bhagavatam, and
Yes.
we know the moon is a heavenly planet. So how did they go there? Prabhupada thought perhaps they went to
Rahu.
maybe Rahu or Ketu or something like that,
Yes.
as opposed to one of those one of the heavenly planet. Because a heavenly planet is heavenly planet. Of course, there it's all subtle, so they still may not see anything.
Goodness sakes, different
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry to keep asking questions.
Go ahead.
So what they say, Saturn, Jupiter, etc., they're not even mentioned here. So do they exist?
Yes,
We will come to those.
We come to those in the next session. There is a description of those planets as well. That's
so
correct.
it's going to get more difficult and more complicated.
It is, yeah. Only somebody who's read the chapter can say that.
Yeah.
Read the chapter and fell asleep reading it. Naniven, yeah.
No question.
Oh.
Yes, I managed to read it, but just couldn't make any much sense about it.
Yeah, I know, I couldn't either.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Prabhuji, they say, is the moon further away than the sun?
Yes.
That's the description in the Bhagavatam.
As for the Bhagavatam, yes, I wonder what happened, all those stones, where did they come from? Where did they go to? Astronauts.
Yeah, indeed. If they even went there in the first place. There's loads of theories of where they actually went, or did they go at all.
Our Manoj Prabhuji, he did say that he has done quite a lot of work on that, and he knows quite a bit, but he said they didn't go to the moon. But there's a lot of work that he knows quite a lot about it.
Does he? We should have got him on here from his hospital bed. He's at home anyway.
At home, yeah.
We talked in the
yeah. I will yes, some people, some conspiracy theories will say they never left the earth.
Yeah.
They were in a studio somewhere, and there's
exactly.
a film made by them called Tropic of Cancer.
Yeah.
In the 80s or somewhere. I saw that years ago, and they just showed that they went to, well, they never left the moon. They're just in a studio, you know, and filmed everything there and pretended that. But you know, these are calculations based on the Vedic time. I mean, they knew about these planets, these varshas, and Sukadeva Goswami is quite clearly describing these. And Prabhupada says that, you know, we take this on authority. You know, it's like, you know, I've never been to North Pole, but somebody's been there and exists, you know, and it's all ice, and I have to accept when somebody says they've been there.
Yeah.
Minu?
Okay. Minu? Did you want to ask something, Minu? We can't hear you. Oh, Surinder, did you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhu. I would like to recite a verse.
Go ahead.
You mentioned sun planet, so it reminds me a verse whereby the sun god is worshipping Govinda, the original supreme person of Godhead, in Brahma Samhita. It is like that. Yakchak Shuresa Savita Raja Yasya Jala Brahmati Samrita Kala Chakro Govindamari Purusham. Yeah, it says like the sun planet is a king of all planets. Yes, and then it is the sun god is doing nice things to Govinda. Govinda, like that.
That's right.
It moves in its orbit as well, the sun planet.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about that next, actually. Thank you so much, Surinder. Nice verse to remember. Hare Krishna. So, let's look at chapter 21.
In the midst of that region of outer space, Antariksh, is the most opulent sun, the king of all planets that emanate heat, such as the moon. By the influence of its radiation, the sun heats the universe and maintains its proper order. It also gives light to help all living entities see. While passing through the north towards the south or through the equator, in accordance with the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is said to move slowly, swiftly, or moderately, according to its movements in rising above, going beneath, or passing through the equator, and correspondingly coming in touch with various signs of the zodiac. Headed by Makar, Capricorn, days and nights are short, long, or equal to one another.
Tough chapter again. So this chapter is entitled Movements of the Sun. The diameter of the universe is 4 billion miles. So that's Bhumandal's circumference, 4 billion miles. Or is it the diameter? Diameter. The sun is situated in the middle of the universe, being the hottest of all planets. By its radiation, it heats up and lights the three worlds. According to the sun's movement, days and nights are short, long, or equal to one another. When the sun travels in the south, the days grow longer. And when it travels to the north, the days go shorter. So this is a little idea of the different, you got the long days, and then when it goes into the south, and then it goes into the north. This is the entire wheel of the signs and constellations move clockwise. So according to the Vedic, the names are these names, and according to the English or the Western, they're these names. So the duration of the day increases as it goes towards the south, and the duration of the night increases as it goes up towards the north. Again, difficult to understand, but...
No, it's like you have the shortest day in December, and you have the longest day in June. So that's how you can understand it.
Depends which country you're in, though, isn't it?
Most of the northern countries have that.
The sun's travels. The sun travels over all the sides of the Manasottara mountain. So we'll see that in a minute. Passing through the residence of Indra, Yamraj, Varun, and Chandra. These four demigods are specifically named. So there you go. This is the Manasottara mountain range. This is here. Manasottara mountain range. And you see the sun's circumference? It goes right over that. And this is Bhumandal, the whole of Bhumandal, Jambudweep, and Mount Sumeru is here. That's Mount Sumeru. If you remember Mount Sumeru, around which is Jambudweep, towards, and then Bharatwas is towards the south, and then all the other islands, all within this Manasottara mountain range. That's the border. And then you've got the golden land, the uninhabited land, and you've got Alokavarsh.
And then the shell.
So that's the sun, that's Rahu here. And then you got the moon there. So it may be that they went to Rahu.
Got Dhruvlok.
And Dhruvlok is there, yeah, which you'll come across in a little while. Everybody still alive?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sunrise, sunset, midday, midnight occurs in different places. When the sun is east of Mount Sumeru, those who reside in the south of Sumeru perceive sunrise, those west, midnight, those east, midday, those north, sunset. When it shines at noon, it is midnight at the city, diametrically opposite. In a similar way, the moon, along with the other stars and planets, become visible in the celestial sphere and then set again and again become invisible. This is the Surya Dev, and there's his chariot, Arun Datu, or something like that. And there's his horses.
He's facing.
Yeah, he faces, yeah. Okay. The chariot of the sun god, which is Triyamai, Maya, or worshipped by the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurvaswa, travels through the four residences, like we talked about, Indra, Yama, Varun, at a speed of 27 million miles every 48 minutes. So it's about 30 million miles an hour. Regarding the wheel of the sun, chariot of the sun god, the 12 months are calculated to be the 12 spokes, 6 seasons, are the sections of its rims, and the 3 Chaturmasya periods are its 3-sectioned hub. So this gives a little idea. Actually, this is, neither one is helping. So this is the wheel, and then the spokes, we have 12 spokes. And we had the 6 seasons. So 2 of those would equate to a season. And this is again, similarly, the wheel with 12 sections and showing the zodiac signs. Right, the chariot of the sun god has only one wheel, with an axle having one side on the Sumeru. On the other side of the axle rests Manasottara mountain. So this is he's always going on one wheel around. There is a second axle attached to Dhruvlok by a rope of wind. The chariot's horses, which are named after Gayatri and the other Vedic meters, are harnessed by Arundev, who to a yoke that is 900,000 yojanas wide. Times that by 8, 7.2 billion. Wow. Although Arundev sits in front of the sun god and he's engaged in driving the chariot and controlling the horses, he looks backward towards the sun god. Now this is a little idea. This is one axis, and then there's the second axis from Mount Sumeru. So the sun has a little bit of an odd movement. Goes, yeah, it's got the second axis here.
Axel.
Axel, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. And this is the Manosotara mountain, and this is Mount Sumeru. So that's one connection between the sun and the Sumeru. It goes all the way around. And then you've got it going around Duvlok as well.
It's attached to both places.
Mm. So what happens? 60,000 saintly persons named Vali Kilayas. They are thumb size. They offer eloquent prayers in front of sun god. 14 other saints, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, and demigods perform ritualistic ceremonies as well. We're not taking questions because we don't know any answers. And no, everybody's asleep, aren't they? It's pretending to be awake.
I think Rianj is digesting everything, so he'll be answering the question.
Yes, Nariben.
Somebody should do research on all this. It's very interesting. We are getting old now, but perhaps Riansh.
we can allocate this job to Riansh. He's got
the mental capacity to do it.
better chance than all of us.
He should recite that slok as well.
You're cruel, you are.
Is he listening?
Yeah.
Rianj, are you listening?
He's got his hand up. He said, yes. Yes, Rianj. You want to do it?
Yes, Raj, I want to do the shloka and translation.
Go on and try it.
You mean this one?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, go on then.
No, we're talking about the future.
No, Kamakshi, we're not anymore.
Go on, Riansh.
Sa Esha Bhagavan Ari Purusha Eva Sakshan Narayana Lokanam Swastasya Atmanam Traimayam Karma Vidushiti Nimittam Kavibir Apicha Vedana Vijinasya Mano Dashada Vibhajya Satsu Vasanta Desiv Rutusu Yatapo Dosham Rutu Gunan Vidadati. The original cause of the cosmic manifestation is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. When great saintly persons, fully aware of the Vedic knowledge, offer prayers to be the Supreme Person, he descended to this material world in the form of the sun to benefit all the planets and purify fruitive activities.
Thank you so much.
He divided himself into 12 parts and created seasonal forms beginning with spring. In this way, he created the seasonal qualities such as heat, cold, and so on.
Well done. So this is explaining how actually Narayan comes as the sun. So often the sun planet is none other than Lord Narayan, expansion of Lord Narayan, Surya Narayan. So this is discussing the orbits of the planets now. So I hope everybody's paying attention. The sun marks time. King Parikshit. So we're confused, right? But King Parikshit, he challenged Sukadeva Goswami. He asked him a question. How is it that as the sun travels around Dhruvalok, with both Dhruvalok and Mount Sumeru on his right, and yet at the same time, the sun god faces the sign of the zodiac, and keeps Sumeru and Dhruvalok on his left? How can we understand the sun god proceeds with Sumeru and Dhruv on both his left and right side simultaneously? So he challenged Sukadeva Goswami. And the answer was, just as the motion of ants on a potter's wheel, which are moving in opposite direction to the rotation of the wheel. So the ants are in a different direction to the wheel itself. Is different from that of the wheel. The planets, the sun move separately from the zodiac and thus shift through different constellations and zodiac signs. There is no contradiction since there are two separate movements, the movement of the time wheel and the individual movement of the planets. So Sukadeva Goswami answers Parikshit Maharaj's question, that actually there's no contradiction. Just like the ants on the potter's wheel, they will be going in a different direction to how the potter's wheel is going. The same way that the movement of the time wheel is different from the movement of the planets. Again, it's going to be difficult for us to understand this.
It's like the sun is rotating, planets also rotating.
The other way.
Yeah.
The Supreme Lord descended to this material world in the form of the sun to benefit all the planets. Dividing himself into 12 parts, he created seasonal forms and qualities such as heat, cold, etc. The sun god, who is Narayan or Vishnu, the soul of all the worlds, is situated in outer space between the upper and lower portions of the universe. As the sun passes through 12 signs of the zodiac, a year passes. When the sun travels for 2 months, a season passes. Of course, in the UK, we only have one season. Something's gone wrong. It's the rainy season. Is it raining? Yep, it's raining. Was it raining yesterday? Yes, it was. It's always raining. It was funny, the other morning, Jayanti said, oh, look, on the phone, it says it's snowing. We looked outside and it was raining. So you can't even get snow, let alone sun. The moon and stars. Above the sun is the moon. So this is quite clearly stated in the Bhagavatam. In 2 lunar fortnights, the moon travels through the equivalent of a samvatsara of the sun. In 2¼ days, it passes through a month of the sun, and in 1 day, it passes through a fortnight of the sun. The moon is a source of nectarian coolness that influences the growth of food grains, and therefore this moon god is considered the life of all living entities. Because the moon is full of potentialities, it represents the influence of the Supreme Lord and is called Manomaya because he is the predominating deity of everybody's mind. So when there's a full moon, usually we see many lunatics out in the street. Anmaya, because he gives potency to all herbs and plants. And he's called Amritmaya because he is the source of life for all living entities. Sarvamaya, because he pleases everyone, the demigod, Prithus, human beings, animals, birds, reptiles, trees, plants, and all other living entities. There are 28 moons above the stars above the moon, fixed to the wheel of time. The planets circumambulate Dhruvalok. Above the stars is Venus, above Venus is Mercury, above them is Mars, above Mars is Jupiter, and above Jupiter is Saturn. Above Saturn are the 7 sages, and all of them circumambulate Dhruvalok. Now, I didn't get a chance, but each planet is described, and their influence, their auspiciousness or inauspiciousness is described in these 6 chapters. So 6 verses. So if devotees get a chance, you can have a look at these 6 verses of chapter 22. The last 6 verses describes each planet and how they're auspicious.
Good and bad qualities.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So these planets, this Venus, Mars. So
Yeah.
is that the actual name for them? Because that's what English people name it, don't they? Or no, in English language.
This is English name, Sam.
This is the English name. So in Sanskrit, it'll be different.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's have a quick look.
Like Mangal is Mars.
Ah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Saturn must be sun, Shani.
Yeah. Shani.
No, Shani is.
Saturn is not a good planet. No,
Yeah.
Saturn is not good.
It might be Sunny. You're right.
Yeah. I think it is.
But is this all comes in this material world, isn't it?
Yes.
So material world, okay.
Yeah.
So I noticed there's no Pluto on there either.
I know.
Yeah.
I noticed that as well.
Jupiter is there. Brihaspati.
Brihaspati, yeah.
Brihaspati, yes.
Guru.
Yeah.
I think they say Pluto is not a planet, it's an asteroid. There's quite a controversy about Pluto.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yes.
But it's not mentioned in the Bhagavatam then.
Okay.
So we don't believe in it.
So Shani, you're right. It is Saturn. Yeah. Good.
It's Venus.
What is this one?
That's Saturn.
Of Saturn. Oh, the stages. Okay.
They are the Navgraha planets, Prabhu, are they?
Sorry?
Navgraha.
Navgraha.
Planets, yes. Some worshippers.
Yes.
Do Navgraha puja, etc.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. Now, Madhusudan Prabhu made a good point that there is a YouTube video on the TOVP which one can look at to see how this all relates. But I've also heard this controversy about the TOVP and how it's not actually representing the what the Bhagavatam is saying. So it's very difficult to understand. Angaraka, that's Mars. Angaraka, that's the Sanskrit name.
Really? I usually say there's a Mangal.
Right.
I thought it was Mangal.
Okay, it may well be. Buddha is Mercury.
I have a list.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Surya is Sun, Buddha is Mercury, Surya
Okay.
is Venus, Prithvi is Earth, Mangal is Mars, Brihaspati is Jupiter, Sunny is Saturn, Arun is Uranus, Varuna is Neptune, and Yam is Pluto. I don't know if that's that. I read it, I just had a quick look.
Yeah, that's good. That sounds about right.
So you're giving class tomorrow to
I found it interesting. I didn't understand much.
Yeah, snap. I think this is a lifetime's work and you still won't get it.
It's so interesting, isn't it?
Yes, sorry, we're saying Rian should study all this.
Yeah, we should nominate him.
Yeah,
He's
no.
so smart. I wish I was his age. And
I know. Rian, show us your face. Rian, put your camera on. We haven't seen you for ages.
so sweet.
He's really sweet, yes. And he knows a lot.
Yeah, he does. He's an incredible boy.
He is.
Okay, I think we should call it a day there. And tomorrow is going to be...
Oh my God.
Shishumara, yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
We just read through it, that's it.
Yeah. I'm just presenting it as it is, and I'm not sure we might get an opportunity to reconcile it all, but I'm not quite sure yet because it's quite a challenging area. But I'll try anyway. We'll see how it goes.
So tomorrow 2 chapters, Prabhuji?
Yes, please. 2 tomorrow and 2 the next day, which will finish 5th canto. So, okay. Any further questions or comments before we pray even more earnestly to Lord Nrsingadev?
Haribol, Navi.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna to everyone. It's an amazing aspects of, but certainly this is all part of material world, and there are parts which still, you know, the lower planetary systems and all that. But some of these things obviously must exist on different planes as well. So it's very hard for us, because we try to relate it in a three-dimensional kind of concept, you know, which is what we are stuck in, you know.
That's right.
And then there are other dimensions which then, you know, might be on subtle platforms and astral and mental platforms. So, you know, which is where some of these demigods, living entities might exist, you know. So we just have to take it on authority of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Sukadeva Goswami and saying so. Amazing anyway.
You want to do the instructions while you write?
Yeah, okay. All right. Chapter 20. Srila Prabhupada says, you know, like all these different planetary systems, we talked about all these islands and all the inhabitants living on these different islands. And they're certainly worshipping either the Varuna Dev, or they're worshipping air, Vayu, Agni Dev and all that. But they all know that they're worshipping Agni Dev, but the Agni Dev is the representative of the Supreme Lord. So indirectly they're worshipping the Supreme Lord. And that, you know, is nothing, Prabhupada says, there's nothing wrong in worshipping the demigods as well. Because as it says here, you know, the demigods cannot accept the sacrificial offerings. They simply carry the offerings to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in other words, they pass it onwards to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They don't just take it for themselves as such, you know. When also as stated in the by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasada. Since the Guru is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he carries to the Lord whatever is offered to him. So when we're worshipping our Supreme Guru, then you know, we have to have that proper understanding that when we worship demigods and a bona fide Guru, they actually pass it on to the Supreme Lord. They're not accepting it for themselves as such, you know. So and all these different varshas and planetary system, mind-boggling, but the inhabitants are certainly worshipping the demigods in different ways. And then chapter 21, this chapter instructs us about how sun never deviates an inch, and it has to carry out the orders of Govinda. So sun is also acting on the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And certainly, you know, it's confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, that Maya Dyakshena Prakrite, so that the whole material, can't really, you know, carries out the orders of the world, and that everything is maintained in an orderly way. So there's nothing chaotic about certain things. This is all working in a very orderly way, you know. So that's how material work works, you know. It's like gravity, you know. Gravity is acting nicely, you know. You can't manipulate it or change it, but it's acting for our benefit to keep us on ground. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. So Indulekha Maji, would you like to go through the instructions? Oh, lessons rather.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Good, yes.
Give me 1 second, please. Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Lesson from Canto 5, Chapter 1. Due to the karmas, all living entities get different types of bodies for birth, death, and other activities which cannot be avoided. Chapter 2. To avoid the trap of Maya, we must beware of the flowery and flattery words of others. Chapter 3. The Lord is so affectionate towards his devotees that he is satisfied even when they offer him a little water with a tulsi leaf. Chapter 4, whenever we perform sacrifices and offer prayers to the Lord, we need to do so through qualified brahmanas. Chapter 5, as this human form of life is very rare, we must utilize it in the service of the Lord so that we can come out of the circle of birth and death. Chapter 6, to be spiritually fit, we need to take the position of the eternal servant of the Lord, which will help us to leave our material body easily. Chapter 7, to get detached from material bondage, one should share their property among their children as they grow old. Chapter 8, in their next life, one acquires a body according to their thought at the time of death. Chapter 9, we can atone to reduce the effect of a sin, but we must seek forgiveness for an offense committed towards someone. Chapter 10, an elevated soul always show compassion toward all living entities, thus trying to elevate others also. Chapter 11, it is very difficult to control the mind, but if one manages to do so, the mind becomes the best friend, otherwise it is the worst enemy. Chapter 12, we should never judge a person by their appearance because the elevated souls do not like to exhibit their saintly qualities. Chapter 13, when one takes shelter of the devotees of the Lord, they can easily get detached from material bondage. Chapter 14, the Lord is so passionate toward his devotees that sometimes he takes away their material possession, thus favoring them to surrender unto him. Chapter 15, a householder should observe the rules and regulation of household life and perform sacrifices so that he can become a good devotee of the Lord. Chapter 16, if we want happiness in this life and want to prepare for the best in the next life, we need to adopt the Vedic civilization. Chapter 17, if one takes bath in River Ganga, they become purified and develop devotional attitude towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chapter 18, whoever has taken birth has to die, but people have the tendency to forget the imminent truth and just think about sense enjoyment. Chapter 19, the Lord doesn't care about your knowledge, wealth, beauty, name, fame, or strength. He is pleased only when we sincerely surrender unto him. So here, yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, Indira Kamaji, probably on Friday, you can go through these if you want in a little detail.
Yes, Prabhuji, sure.
And Madhusudan Babu, maybe on Saturday, you can do the instructions from all the 26 chapters, if that's okay.
Is he talking?
No.
I think he might have gone to the bathroom.
Oh, no problem. You just let him know, huh?
Okay.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Okay. So let's